Hi, good morning, everybody. Let's see. For those of you joining live, I'm going to be painting this scene. It's got some skeletons in the saguaro cactus, and there's a little coyote at the base of one of them. And I want to make it look like it's the viewer kind of stumbled upon this scene, maybe with a flashlight, but the focus should be down here with the coyote, and I might even put a crow down there also. And the secondary, once the viewer's looking at it and really studying the painting, then they'll notice the skeletons and the saguaros. So that's at least the idea anyway. So I drew it out, and I think the horizon line would be about right there, because this coyote's on a rock. And it's 1 point perspective. So that's the vanishing point right in the middle. And so everything's kind of, if you imagine it in a box, it's a little easier to draw. So what I mean by that, I can show you. Hey BPZ Mag, thanks for joining. So what I mean by that is if I have a horizon line right here, vanishing point, this skeleton that's up here, imagine it being contained in a box like this. These are going down to the vanishing point. And if I were to draw the skeleton's, the head, that's a really simple head. That's looking straight on. That's if the box were like that. But we have a three-dimensional box. So the head of the skeleton peering down, you have to think of it existing in this perspective. And so you would see the bottom of the jaw, So that's like the bottom of the jaw, the base of the skull right there. And the ribs are gonna overlap part of the neck. And so this is how I would draw the ribs. I'd be able to see the underside of those ribs. So you just have to picture that box containing the figure. And same thing down here, like the coyote. The coyote would be inside this box, and so I'd see the top of the head a little bit. I hope that makes sense. Hey, Hannah. Thanks for joining. I'm working on this little gouache painting I'm going to sell these originals next month in my live show. So this is an example of kind of what I'm going for. I'm introducing my skeletons to my figurative work and also to my Western work, kind of marrying all three elements and creating these magical little scenes. And I want it to be subtle so that the viewer sees something, first before seeing the skeletons coming in onto the scene. So thanks for joining me this morning. Just warming up while I get my coffee. Cheers, everybody. And I know you all have your day to go about, so no worries if you pop in here and there. Okay. And for this, I think I actually might use a pen to outline these elements I just kind of scribbled in with pencil. So now I'm going to start outlining them. And I should check actually first to see if this pen is water soluble. I don't even know. It's like it's a marker, a felt tip pen. Yeah, it's water soluble. Dang. Actually, I think that's only because it didn't dry fully. I guess I'll use this one in the meantime. Actually, I'll do a little test here. Just some lines. All right. So this little skeleton up here in the saguaro cactus, we're looking at it from below. So you're gonna see more of the cheekbones and less of the top of the skull. You know, try and push perspective when you can. It really helps create the illusion of depth in a drawing. Like I'm bending the top of the mouth. Can you guys see that? Let me get in a little closer. Sorry for the zooming. But there you go. Sweet Tea and Diary of a Madman. Thanks for joining, guys. Just doing my morning coffee here. Oh, it's out of focus. What happened? There we go. So, drawing this little skeleton, mouth open. You're gonna see the bottom of the jaw because we're below it, as well as the base of the skull. And this will be a little hand. I'm getting into the habit of drawing hands before I draw the arm. I'm learning that the thumb really dictates the movement of the whole arm. All right, so he's kind of hidden in the saguaro branches. I think I can use this pen. And there we go. Yeah, so it's like a saguaro forest in the back. And these skeletons that I love to paint and draw, I think they really exercise my creative muscles. And I actually dream. They're like in my dreams now. It's kind of crazy. So they like this whole scene with the saguaros and the coyote. It's a combination of several dreams together. All right, and this guy over here, I kind of drew him just straight on. I need to actually erase that and draw him or her peering down at least at the viewer. And so one of the ways I do that is I visualize the head in a box. But this box is not in straight on it. You know, this is a vanishing point, so I have to draw all these corners going all the way down to that angle, to that vanishing point. So this tells me that I will, if it was just flat, I would see the bottom of the jaw. But it's peering down, so the bottom of the jaw is going to be like that. Again, we won't see a whole lot of the top of the head because it's covered. Or you won't see the top of that cube, so you won't see the top of the head. angles are a little steep right here. I think that's a good shape. How much I charge? Wait, I'm getting questions here. I can answer those direct messages in a bit. I just saw it pop up on the phone really quickly. And I think it was a question about how much I charge for my art. I just saw a portion of the question. The originals that I paint, you know, they're going to be worth a little bit more than the prints. The prints, I think I try and make them, you know, affordable on my website so that everybody can decorate their home and have a chance to support what I do. And the original artwork, I mean, I've sold originals for like $20. I mean, they're pretty affordable. Like, but those are like little postcards, like little things. If you want, okay, like this guy right here, I think I could let go for like $200, and that's framed and with a certificate of authenticity and stickers and goodies and all that. But I think for the sale next month, I might let him go for like $150 for an original painting. I don't know. I just want to put you know, these like beautiful things out in the world. Hopefully people will give them a home. Hey everybody, thanks for joining. Sorry I'm not looking at the screen a whole lot. Yeah, if you have questions, I can get back to you in the direct messages, or you can ask them right here. So it's looking a bit messy, but I think I know what I want to do now. So the bottom of the eye is going to be about right there, and it's just the eye socket. And I don't really ever want the skeletons I draw to be too spooky. I want them to be welcoming and warm, inviting almost. And this is kind of like a peekaboo situation where you have these skeletons peering down on this situation here. It's more like playful, spooky, like peekaboo or something. That's what I'm going for, at least. Like, I like a little bit of spookiness, and let's see, if this guy's there, I think one hand can be like wrapped around the saguaro, and the other, maybe there's a branch right here that his hand is on, and his shoulder comes out right there. It looks so messy right here. It's so small and I'm so shaky. I haven't warmed up. I'll blame it on that. Let's see. You're gonna see some ribs right there. Yeah. Another arm of a giant saguaro. I feel like this one's gonna come in front. All right, now I can move a little quicker. And here we have a hole where a little owl might be looking. some sort of bird. Let's see. I don't know if I want that interrupted yet. If you guys have ever been around a lot of saguaros, the really tall ones, the ones that are like over 100 years old, you know, it's really kind of crazy. I don't know how to describe it. It's walking among these monolithic things in the desert. The desert's so flat often, you know, all the trees and cactus, they're really short and shrubby and spiky. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, you get these giant saguaros just towering over the landscape. And to see a forest of them, it's really cool. And that image just stuck with me. And so now I'm just kind of creating more of them in the background, and they're going to be really dark. I don't know what I'm doing here with this one. I think that was like a branch that might come down. Sometimes the branches don't always go up. They go down, and they have a bunch of they have character. Almost anthropomorphic. Like they're waving high or doing a funny dance. All right, so I think that's enough to suggest that background. Yes. My friend Nate says that they're sacred national monuments, and they are. If you ever get a chance in Tucson to go hike in the mountains that surround the town, I really enjoyed hiking in Sweetwater. It's a path kind of northwest of the city, and you get these paths that just kind of are lined with these saguaros. It's a really great experience, really humbling. I like to go hiking over there. Nate and I, we hiked a few times during sunset out there. Really beautiful. You can't miss it. So if you're in Tucson, look up Sweetwater Trail and give it a hike. All right, this is a rock right here. Like a little coyote. Maybe it's got some shrubs right there. And these could be cactus. I always like putting prickly pear. Like a viewer is peering into the scene. Some more over here. More shrubs and rocks and texture, a little sand and dirt. And I think the light from the viewer is going to be focused on that, so I'll get like a shadow of the fox, I say fox, but coyote, kind of on that base of the saguaro. All right, I think I like that. All right, so this is my setup. Oh, that's my water bottle, you guys can see. I got some stickers on there. I ordered more of these stickers. So if you guys buy prints, even if it's like the cheapest print I have on my website, I always send a personal thank you, usually with a real block print that I make. It takes hours to do all this stuff, but I enjoy the genuine connection with people who support what I do. And anyway, I'll take my time and I'll do like a little handwritten note, and I'll put some stickers and other goodies in there just to say thanks. All right. So that's my that's my scene, and now I'm going to get to painting. I'm using gouache paint, and I sprayed them. Oh, you guys can't see here. So this is a little water bottle, and I spray them before, like I sprayed them like 10 minutes ago or something, and they're real wet, so I can just go to town painting here. All right. Okay, what to paint first? Usually try and do the background. In the background, I talk about painting blue. And this light down here is gonna be like a real white, bleached light. The point of high contrast where the viewer's eye will go first. So this blue can't just be blue, it's gotta be dark, yes, but I like to mix a little bit of magenta and alizarin crimson in there. Just to play around and have some colors in the dark. Otherwise, it can be really, really flat, and your eyes will just pass over it really quickly if you're looking at it. But if you include some little notes of color in the blue, I think that really makes it does something to the viewer. It makes them take a little bit of a moment to study it. I talk about it like music. You want more than one note, one color note. Why this is... Okay, I didn't see that direct message. You guys can ask the messages like in the comments here. Don't be shy. I mean, can if you want to be, but I think it was a question. I'll have to check later. Yeah, so this is a mixture of Prussian blue, magenta, and a little bit of cobalt blue. I've been thinking about ways to marry the three genres that I work with so often, which are the calaveras, the skeletons, my figurative work, and my Western work. So this is an example of me doing that. So you guys are seeing something new. Yeah, I think I might go down this way. And even though there's going to be more saguaros back here in the distance, I can paint blue because they're going to be tinted blue, almost black. I could probably go purple, even go darker here. Oh, see, I almost dipped in my coffee. You guys didn't see that. It's dangerous to have my coffee right next to my water. I went like that. Boom. That would have... Don't want to do that. I'll just put my coffee a little bit further away. There we go. All right, thanks, Nate. Thanks for checking it out. Yeah, check back. I'll probably do this for an hour. And you can see the progress. Have a good day at work, man. All right. Let's see. That was dirty. Let's see. I'm just trying to see what the highlights are gonna look like right there. So now I'm painting the saguaros. Let's see. Just putting a base color down. Yeah, and because it's gouache, I can paint on top of it. And work in layers. That's a big advantage. It's like acrylic but water-based. I don't really like acrylic. I prefer oil paints actually. But to do these small little color sketches, I do like gouache. Because I just like saying gouache. They serve a purpose. It's a color study. So I'll look at this and see what worked and what didn't work. And it's like a rough draft, essentially. I'm not the best at painting with gouache. There's some really amazing artists that do amazing things. On Instagram, I follow them. If anything, it just helps me be more conscious about what I'm putting down while I play around with color. All right, so this area, in my mind, I picture it so bright, like, you know, when you're driving up on a scene at night and your headlights illuminate everything, or your flashlight just shines a really, really bright light and kind of bleaches the color out of things. That is what I picture happening here. So I think I'm going to use like a Naples yellow. to really show just how bleached things are. Because you won't even see, it'll look so flat too, because it's like the shadow would be behind everything. It's so head on. One of my goals when I'm starting a new sketch like this is just block everything in. Don't worry about the details. Just cover the entire canvas, the entire paper. Try and get everything covered, at least with its base color. Like that'll fade. It's like I have to squint my eyes and like go back into the dream a little bit and be like, all right, like what did I see exactly? I can put some texture down here and some of the angles that are away from me a little bit. As the light goes further away, it gets not as bright, not as brilliant or bleached. Maybe a little warmer. And you can add like a perspective sometimes in your strokes, like a cinematic perspective, I guess, what they call it. Like you're zooming in. All right. I'll just have to develop this as I go. Yeah, because that shadow is going to be purple blue, like really dark blue, almost black on the saguaro, and kind of fuzzy on the edges. So if I squint at this, I can kind of see what is basically going on. Hey Mustafa, thanks for joining. Can you guys see what I'm doing? Do I need to tilt this down? All right. There we go. Yeah, so this is the shadow of this little coyote. You know, because I don't have a reference that I'm working from, I just kind of have to play around with things a little bit. Using what I know about light and shape. Let's see, I can get a little bit warmer. Yeah, as the light fades into the background. Yeah, that kind of makes it look a little bit more like a flashlight shining on this scene. Connect some of these shadows. Again, not really going for any specific details, just doing a color study. Like I want to see what's gonna work and what's not gonna work. There's definitely gonna be some dark shadows up here in the front. Where the light's not hitting. It helps to paint these a little larger than thumbnail, but sometimes I'll do just a thumbnail. And that's what, it's not literally a thumbnail, but it means like a little 2" by 3" sketch, and that'll help work out composition and big shapes. And sometimes I can do that visually just in my head. Other times I really need some help doing it to work out a problem. It's just all problem solving. Yeah, so now it's starting to get there. I think I need some red. Kind of creeping in on the sides here. It's getting close to what I imagined. Like this little scene where the viewer's eye goes directly here first, and then later it'll discover things in the dark. This is all going to be much darker up here. So I pretty much have everything covered. Most of the canvas is covered in its base colors. And I can move from this 1/2" brush to something that'll afford me a little bit more detail. Something like this. This is what, a number 6 Gray Matters brush. All right. So let's see. Just gonna play with some of the highlights here. Saguaros have this accordion type trunk on them, if you've never seen them up close. So they can expand when they absorb a lot of water during the monsoons. I'm just seeing if this is going to be good for a highlight on the saguaro. I think it's going to be more fuzzy on the edge. A little out of focus, not as crisp. Because it's not right up against the saguaro. This coyote. Like a dog's eyes will reflect back into the light shining on them. I want those eyes to be the brightest thing on the canvas. So I'll just leave them white. In order for them to be the brightest thing on the canvas, I can't leave any other paper exposed. And I have these cool little pens. They're gel pens, but it'll be, they have white. I think this one's gold, but I have ones that are white. Here we go. That I could always draw on top of it. So let me see the brand. It's Japanese, but there we go. Signo. Uniball Signos. Hello, thanks for joining. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'm just working on a color sketch that might be a large painting. Who knows? Part of a new series. If I had some reference, I guess that's what I enjoy doing here, like with these little color studies. I'll do using my imagination and trying to draw what I dream of or what I imagine. And then, like, I'm having trouble with this transition here. The shadow to the highlight to where the light's not reaching from the flashlight. I will look up some references for that. And these shadows are probably going to get a little longer. But they're really dark shadows because they are closer to the light. Like maybe that's some grass, shadows of a grass. And these are just textures of like rocks and stuff. Let's see. Now, because I put all that texture down, I'm gonna go back and do it. Well, they're still too wet right now, but I'll put a little highlight on top of everything. I still feel like it's too bleached. Trying not to go too much into the details, just trying to keep an idea of what the big color shapes are gonna do for this composition. Sipping my coffee. It's nice to do something like this without a reference, because then, I don't know, you can really play. I like using references. I don't know, it's kind of like the feeling of accomplishment when you do it just right, whether you're painting a portrait of a person or a landscape that you're looking at. It feels good to get it just right. And when you're doing something like this from imagination, I don't know, there's some joy there that I like just playing around. Like all of this is the texture of the desert floor. The shadows are getting longer in the back. We don't know quite exactly what's going on. I can figure all that out later. Let's see. I'm gonna mix some white and Naples yellow, some orange. Well, that didn't do much. Okay, maybe I'll do some green. It's not lush, maybe dry grass here. When I'm painting with oils, a lot of my time is just spent mixing color. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for joining. If you have any questions, just let me know. Yeah, this is really cartoony. When I paint it later in oils, I think I might go for a little bit more realism. I think these prickly pears might have a bit more highlight on them because maybe they're in the flashlight way. And a flashlight will really bleach anything it touches for the most part. I might just have to use way more white than I'm using. So that looks about right for the base of this painting. Now I got to work up here because the viewer's eye, they're going to go right here first where the most contrast is. And so you have this little coyote on a rock just confronting the viewer basically. And it's kind of playful. It's not going to be too scary. And then as the viewer's eyes start exploring the canvas a little bit more, what I hope is that they notice these skeletons and the owl just peeking out, saying hi, introducing themselves in like a peekaboo way. Nothing too scary, kind of playful. And there's gonna be like a light source coming from above, like a moon or just a bunch of the stars shining down. And this is just a color sketch. I don't really have to go too crazy on the details. I just want to see what's going to work and what's not going to work. Kind of inspired from my time in Tucson. I would go on the Sweetwater Trail, and there were these giant monolithic saguaros they'd line the trail, literally. Like And they're, saguaros, when they're this big, with multiple arms, they could be 100 years old. A lot of them are. But it's like they were planted along that trail. Anyway, that's where this composition some of the inspiration comes from. I'm already looking forward to painting this in oils with a lot of texture, really thick on the wood panel. I like painting a wood panel because then you can really be rough. Canvas bounces a lot when I'm painting on it. And it can be annoying because you can't really go too rough. And then you dent the canvas. And that can be really annoying. All right, we get the point. The saguaros have ribs, just like the skeleton. More of an accordion. Ugh, okay, I'm just gonna turn it around. I'm being so sloppy here, but it's okay. All right. Looks great. Thanks, Nina Fresca. That's my friend Arlette. She's got a podcast called Alfa Romeo. Y'all should check it out. I listen to a lot of podcasts when I'm painting usually. Can't do it now because, I don't know. I don't own the rights to any of it, or sometimes I'll do audiobooks, music. I've been listening to a lot of Lana Del Rey. For those of you that follow along, you'll know that I did a portrait of her recently. Almost done with it. Actually, it's right here. Here, I could just show you guys. There you go. That's the portrait I did of Lana Del Rey in charcoal. Sorry for that whiplash. Hey, Beto. Beto also is from Douglas. I met him when I joined cross country. It's crazy how we've been able to all regroup on Instagram and Facebook and such. All right. So I'm kind of liking this idea of the flashlight being able to expose some of the highlights on these ancient saguaros, at least at the base. Let's see. Beto Victoria. Javi, I love your style. Hey, thanks. Javi, like an open window. Thank you. I try and have fun with it. I'm actually trying for something new where I'm combining my skeletons and my Western work with figurative work. There's no figure here. I guess the figure is the viewer in this scene. But like this one that I did earlier, you know, you got the skeletons in the tree, or in the saguaro, and there's a crow down there. So it's got my figurative, my calaveras, and my Western art all mixed together. I'm gonna try and do more of these magical little scenes. And so this one, I'm having a lot of fun with. Just playing with the shadows back there, trying to make it real dark. Like I can always go darker. It's getting lighter. That's the hard thing with gouache sometimes. It gets real muddy if you layer it too much. Like the one I just showed you, I think I made it really muddy last time. Let's see. There's going to be a shadow from this rock also. The shadows aren't going to be anything great because the light's right on them. But I'm starting to see this image develop little by little. It was funny the other night. My wife and I were watching a movie, and she was like, "Oh, I have an idea. It's like some planets, and there's some skeletons on the planet." And, you know, of course she would say that because she loves space and stuff. And then she's like, it goes like this, and, you know, I'm like, well, just draw it. Like, show me. Just draw it. And she's like, not everybody can just draw what they imagine. And it's good to be reminded of that. It is it takes practice. And I was like, oh yeah, sorry, babe. But she still drew it. She was able to draw it out a little bit. It was adorable with like stick figures and stuff. Big circles and yeah. Nina Fresca, Arlette says she loves the one with the kid. Oh, thanks, yeah. So I'll be selling these little sketches, these color sketches, color studies, whatever you want to call them. I'll be selling them next month, and something like this is usually like $200 or $300. But I think for the sale next month, I'm gonna sell them for $150 each. They're 8x10. Quality materials. They're not on like thin paper. They're on Canson illustration board, and they will all be framed and have the little certificate of authenticity, and, you know, all extra goodies in there. Like here, I got some more stickers in the mail. These little guys, they're good for your water bottles. So yeah, I'll do an email announcement on my newsletter about my sale coming up in March. I think I'm gonna do it like March 20th. So there will be original artwork and prints and stuff. All right, so, and if you have any questions, just let me know. Or heck, if you want to buy it ahead of the sale, just let me know. We'll have a pre-sale. these shadows from the prickly pear, they're going to be really distinct. Just like when you have a shadow, like a light that's casting a shadow, a cast shadow. The closer it is to the viewer, the crisper the edges. The further away, like here, and it's just, if you draw a spear with the highlight, cast shadow, and all that, you'll learn that. It's a lot of practice doing that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm going to be going back to study and get my master's degree, and it all costs money, and so that's one of my big goals this year, is to be able to pay for my master's degree with my artwork, and also pay my rent and my bills and other things. All right, so now I think I'm getting the illusion of like, yes, this is the headlights or the flashlight. Put a little bit more gold, like pop it out a little bit more. And I have to paint this area up here now, make it a little darker. Thanks for joining, guys. Let's see. Because these guys are up in the tree, kind of, I don't want you to notice them until you have been looking at the painting for a bit. The highlights, usually they're glowing bright, you know, in the night. Like, usually my skeleton paintings, for those of you that don't know, they are bright, like that guy. You know, that's a painting I'm working on right now. The heart is a light source, and it really illuminates everything. But when you have this painting that I'm working on here, something like a flashlight illuminating the scene, it's gonna bleach. It's gonna be so much brighter than like the light in these little skeletons up there. Oh, hey, Mom. Thanks for joining. Seattle Atelier, thanks for joining, guys. I'm just enjoying my morning coffee and working on some color studies in gouache for some larger paintings. My mom bought a puzzle recently from my website. We now sell puzzles, and I'm offering some other merchandise like coffee cups and sweaters and t-shirts, that kind of thing. Oh, and calendars. It's all beta right now, so there might be, I'd be happy for some feedback if you guys bought some of that stuff and let me know how it all looks. All right. This little owl. I think everything just needs to be more blue up here. Let's see. I'll test it on the edge here. I have cobalt blue mixing with some purple. And I'm thinking like that, and then like a lavender highlight on top, because the moon was out, or maybe there's stars that are shining down. But nothing too distracting from the scene down here. All right. I plan to do these live videos Thursday mornings when I am drinking my coffee. I'll be sketching and doing these little color studies in the morning before I go into my studio and do some paintings. And then maybe once a month in the evenings, I'll do a, like Saturday evening, I'll do it. That way I'm doing it in the morning, weekly, and then at least once a month in the evening. So my mom joined, and she's down in Double Adobe, Arizona. And she's been pretty busy with a bunch of babies being born at the ranch. There are, 5 baby goats and 6 puppies. And so that's really cool. I like to picture that. Bunch of critters at the ranch. Let's see. I think the shadow from the rock needs to be a little bit higher. Just to sell that illusion. And maybe from the prickly pears and other stuff. The shadows will get longer as they're further away. Yeah, I'm liking this a lot more. The darker shadow on the trunk of the saguaro. Cool. That's kind of spooky. I like it. Yeah, I just gotta keep pulling that, that, I guess it'd be like a glaze of blue. Oof, that's really opaque. A glaze should be transparent, but I don't want to make it too watery because then I lose everything because it just reactivates the gouache. Gouache can be so much fun, and then it can also really be frustrating. All right. Okay. Yeah, I guess everything just needs a layer of dark up here so my plan can work. And that's why I do a small color study, so I can really just play around and make a bunch of mistakes and figure things out. It's a little nerve-wracking doing it on live, so live Instagram. You guys are seeing all my mistakes. Oh, oh my God. Like, oh, brother. Don't judge me too harshly, guys. Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. Yeah, and now to paint the skeletons in a way that's not too brilliant, like not too bright. I like their bodies to be like a magenta color. I'm wondering if I should paint the light colors first. Get a smaller brush to do that. All right, thanks for joining, Mom. Tell the goats and puppies I say hey. Give a big hug to Oso. See, like that orange is gonna be too bright. So this is just a problem I have that I will have to solve. Like how to make these skeletons appear illuminated from the inside, but very, very subtle. Yeah, I don't know how I'm going to do that yet. Hey, Western Art Collector. Thanks for joining. Really appreciate you guys tuning in. I'm working on some color studies here for some larger paintings. Some playful stuff. I got a little coyote in a flashlight area, and I'm introducing some of my calaveras into the scene here. I'm doing this for a series that I plan on painting this year, where I bring my Western artwork, my calavera artwork, and my figurative work all together. All right. And so I want this to be fun, a fun scene, a welcoming scene, nothing too macabre. And I think that's why I like the anatomy of my skeletons to not be too exact. Like here, in that painting I'm working on, that's more anatomical. And it's more magical and brilliant, and there's a lot of mystery there. And it celebrates life, a great reverence for life, you know. Culturally speaking, I'm sure everybody's heard of Day of the Dead, but there's a lot more symbolism and the narrative about honoring your ancestors and celebrating life. I think that was one of the things that resonates with me, and I try and put beautiful things out there in the world with my artwork. But not just beautiful, I want them to be magical and full of wonder and inspire other people. So here in this little color study, you guys can see I'm really working on solving these problems of how am I going to make this look like a hiker is in the saguaro forest and came across this coyote on a rock. And then very subtly, as the viewer studies the painting, notices these calaveras that are peering down, not in attack mode or anything like that, but just curious of this explorer. And that's a little owl in there. So the most important thing in this composition, I think, is going to be value. I really want to, I might actually go out and take some photographs of flashlights on the rocks and study the shadows and the bleaching effect, because when the light hits something so directly, it can really bleach all the color out. And up here I'll have the stars and these skeletons. Again, kind of inspired by several dreams and walks out near Sweetwater in Tucson, where there's a literal path, and it's lined with these monolithic saguaros that are 100 years old, and you can't help but be inspired and be in awe. So this is pretty good. It's a good little study to tell me what I need to think about a little bit more as far as lighting and composition goes. I got a lot of negative space here that's just these vertical elements. So I think I might put some ocotillo kind of breaking that up. Or I might even stretch it out and make this gradient from the light to the dark to the night, stretch that out a little bit more. Really showing the texture of the thorns on the saguaro in my oil paintings. We'll see. I think it'll be a fun one. And yeah, I like this idea. This wasn't a dream where I'm walking and I get startled, but really it's not a bad thing. It's more of an epiphany. And I can change the eyebrows and make it look like a curious little fox or a coyote. I've had that happen to me before where I'm walking in the desert and I come across a javelina and I startle them and I'm startled at the same time. And we both jump. Growing up in the West, my dad had a peculiar method of raising my brother and I, and he literally sent us on walkabouts out in the desert. It was night, and I remember he took us way out in the desert, dropped us off, and was like, that light way over there, that's the house. And I was in elementary school, and it's like, you're gonna walk back, but know that you are the scariest thing out here. There's no need for you to be scared of javelinas or coyotes. They're all afraid of you. And you just, you walk back to the house and don't let fear overwhelm you. And looking back, I'm like, man, he was crazy. He just sent us out in the desert. And my brother and I, individually, he did this. We'd walk back home, find our way home. But yeah, it worked. I wasn't afraid of the dark. Wasn't afraid to be out in the desert at night. And growing up on the reservation, on the Navajo reservation, it can get pretty dark out there. He would take us out during rainstorms and thunderstorms and the monsoons and have us sit outside with him in the rain. I guess it's the Apache blood or the tradition or something. Anyway, lots of stories from an unorthodox upbringing that I can share with you all. Okay, cool. So this is a good color study. I would call this about finished for now. I'll embellish it a little bit later with color pencil and even some gel pens. Why not? It's fun to use some gel pens. I'll embellish this later, and it'll be for sale next month in my Instagram live sale. So thanks for joining, everybody. I'll be sure to post a picture of this and save the video so you guys, if you missed it, if you tuned in earlier and couldn't stay the whole time. Anyway, cheers. Thanks for joining, everybody. Hope you all have a good day. All right, bye. How do I stop this?